I've been on, I can't remember, probably I'm talking bigger pottery wrecks. I think I've been on like 11 or 12 or something like that, ancient pottery wrecks in the Gulf of Thailand. And those are usually 300 to 700 years old.
Off-Gassing, a scuba podcast with host Nick Hogel. After chatting with Bruce for a few minutes, I felt as if I'd known him for years. We talked about his path into scuba diving, wrecks, caves, some local community work that he's doing, his work with ANDI, and what he has in mind for the future. Enjoy. Bruce, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, pretty good. Just chilling out.
How's the weather over where you're at right now?
Finally got some rain. We had a drought it's like I didn't have water for like 5 days. It's just a drought time of the year, but it actually just started raining today, so we got water in that.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, we get rain pretty consistently around here. We probably had like a few weeks there that there wasn't really much rain, but it's definitely not too bad over here.
It's just been a scorcher. It was down by the pool, and I teach some side mount courses, and it was just like, it was scorching hot. I didn't even know how I was going to make it through the day, but.
What area of Thailand are you in?
I live about 40 kilometers south of Chumpon in a city called Sawi.
Okay. I guess my next question would be, tell me about how you got into diving, that first breath, first experience underwater.
I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and I can't remember, it was my first or my second year. I did 2 years. I loved Okinawa. After I went to Asia the first time, it was just like, I loved it. So I was just with my friends. Actually, we started taking diving courses and stuff like that. Not with the Marine Corps, but off on the side. And one of my friends, I don't know if we could, how many years ago, can they catch me on this one? Yeah, they were running black market booze and cigarettes. and it paid for all of our diving. Yeah, we would go down, and I wasn't. All I did was buy the beer, and they paid for all the hamburgers and all that stuff, paid for all the diving, and we would go out diving.
So was it just like a Discover scuba dive, or did you just get your open water right off the bat? Or
no, I didn't even get a card. I think the first time they took me, I ended up getting my license, and they ended up getting their license or something like that. I think the first time I ever dove was probably down to like 30 meters or something. Had no clue what I was doing.
So was it just instant love, or was it kind of like, I could do this a little bit more?
Well, I've done everything pretty much. Well, yeah, I've lived this long, but everything racing motocross bikes to snowmobiles, full mod snowmobiles, 4-wheel drive trucks. I've always done, so I got into the diving because of that. But then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I'd sold everything. I didn't start diving full time till like 1994.
Oh, okay. Is that when you became an instructor, or were you just kind of moving through the ranks?
No, that's when I had come over to Thailand. I always wanted to live in Asia. I just seen some foreigners diving, taking out dive trips, and I wasn't, I hadn't dove since the years before when I was in the Marine Corps. And then when I went home and I started thinking, because I always look for work, and the gears just started to turn in my head. I just started taking diving courses again. And then after I sold my house, sold my condo and everything I had in the States, I moved to Thailand and I did my instructor course.
Oh, so most of your first certifications were in the States.
Well, I think only a couple of them. I only think I did like my rescue in the States. I think maybe my rescue in advanced or something like that. But then everything else has been here in Asia.
Oh, okay. How'd you link up with ANDI?
After running trips out to the island, going out there doing Discover Scubas, open waters and stuff. I mean, I'm always wanting to learn. I've never changed. I'm always wanting to progress. And it was just like, oh, geez, what do I, what can I do? It's just like, oh, I could become a PADI course director. And that was about the only options back then. A guy had just come back from England and he showed me pictures of these guys with all these tanks and doing trimix dives. I says, that's what I want to do. I always like to do stuff different than what everybody else is because everybody was doing this, and that's how I pretty much survived. But I actually, because nobody could teach me here in Thailand, I flew to Dubai. I did everything, all my courses up through trimixes. That was in 1995, and I'm still with them, and I'm an instructor, trainer, director with them now. And I've been an ITD for, wow, 10 years or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going through, your resume. It's definitely you've definitely accomplished a few things in your time.
I,
Um,
I'm more than blessed because I've been able to do more things and see more things that people ever imagined. I mean, as far as all the cave and wreck explorations that I've been on, working with the military and underwater archaeology department, I have been able to see and do more things than, the way I always look at it is I'm the person that, there's people that stay home and they go to work and they sit behind their computer and they dream about this. I'm living their dream.
that's not bad. That's definitely not bad. So how did you first get into wreck diving or caves? Which one came first?
Actually, wreck. I think what kind of the first thing that was, I was working in a dive shop, and the owner there, they had actually gone out and this was they it's a big controversial thing that had happened in Thailand, an ancient pottery wreck. I remember working for them. They found this pottery wreck, and the Thai military come out there. This is like 60 miles out in the coast, and they had like a 4-day standoff because these guys had brought in a boat out of Singapore and brought up all of this pottery. And I just remember sitting there looking at all of his video, just trying to find out where this wreck was at. It's called the Australian Thai. Then I actually finally met the boat captain. I got more into technical diving and I started running trips out in the Gulf of Thailand and just diving on wrecks. That was 1995, 1996. And now I moved to Sawi. I'm at the other end of my spectrum now. Towards the heading in that direction. Not retiring, but I know my diving days are getting limited. But even the boat captain, I just see he's put his boat up for sale. But I've been diving wrecks with him in the Gulf of Thailand ever since then.
Okay. What happened with the standoff? Was there any like altercation, or was it just kind of a
There's a movie on it. It's actually pretty good.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's the controversial thing is that the Thai waters is only like 20 miles from shore. This was in the middle of in the Gulf of Thailand in what they call the economic zone. I think they call it the economic zone, which is 60 miles off the shore. Yeah, that was the controversy. And the people that were out, they had brought in a big commercial diving boat out of Singapore, and they brought up all of this pottery and stuff. And then the Navy showed up, and there was a standoff. In the end, they just gave all the pottery to the people in Thailand, to the military.
What was the wreck? When did it sink? Was it just
It's one of the nicest pottery wrecks in the Gulf of Thailand. It is. I've dove it a few times. I can't remember the year or how old it was, but it was worth a lot of money. The stuff that they brought up off of it. I've been on bigger pottery wrecks. I think I've been on like 11 or 12 or something like that. Ancient pottery wrecks in the Gulf of Thailand, and those are usually 300 to 700 years old. And those are a lot of them are a combination of, sometimes you find blue and white Chinese pottery because the trading and pottery coming out of Ayutthaya and Sukhothai, pottery coming from out of the Thailand going out, but there's like mixtures with the blue and white Chinese pottery in that.
out of all of the wreck diving that you've done? Do you have like a favorite exploration or anything? Is there one that kind of tops them all?
I first started in the wreck diving, and I would run trips out in the Gulf of Thailand, and we would go off for 5, 6 days, just stay on the boat and dive wrecks every day. But then I started getting into cave diving. I started exploring caves around Thailand, and then I started running some big trips into the Philippines. And I can't remember, like in Samar, I don't know how many caves we've checked in that. I think maybe 25 underwater caves or something like that. I remember one week we did 7 virgin caves in the Philippines. Every
Oh
day was a
wow.
new virgin cave that no one had ever dove before. And I did one trip there, and actually I'd always run into Andy and stuff when I'd come over and do them because I'd always go to Subic. That was like my home away from home. We did one trip where we actually were out of Samar. We stayed in the jungle 5 days. We had to hire 28 porters to carry all of our tanks, all of the compressor and everything into the jungle so we could live in the jungle and stuff. And we planned, there was 3 of us diving. We brought our dry suits, and the plan was like we had 6 tanks each, side mount diving to explore a cave in there. Some things had gone wrong on that trip, but again, it was a lot of fun. There was like one, there was actually when you see the Filipino porters, when you see them running and screaming, you know there's something to be scared of because there's like a python snake going through the cave. And one of the guys there got bat poisoning because when you're walking through some of these caves, that all the from the bats going to the bathroom, but they ended up getting sick from the bats. In the Philippines, north of, I was pretty much the first one in. I dove these up in it's like a dam. It's called Tong Pampum, and it's north of Kanchanaburi, about 120 kilometers. I went up there and I think I found like 8 caves. I had one person. I says, "Hey, anybody that can take me up and put me in a cave up north?" This is when I first starting out. I says they got a free course coming, so they took me up north, and we rented a boat, and we went out there and found one cave. And the boat captain, I used to say, "Find me more caves and stuff." And every time I'd give him a little bit of money or some whiskey and stuff like that. And every time I'd go up there, he had more caves. In the end, I found about 8 caves up there, and then I think the big one of the nicer ones. Well, they were all nice, but yeah, probably about 8 caves up there or something like that.
So would you say you're more into the cave overhead environments more than the wrecks?
I don't care. It's just I just like to explore. It's just like when we go out into Thailand, even like that pottery wreck I told you about. I've gone out there and I've dove it a couple of times, and I'll go out there and it's just like, now if they want to dive, I'll let it says go ahead. I'm waiting to go where somebody else hasn't gone before because we have other marks that we want to check, and I'm only going to do one deep dive like that, 70 meters a day because we're offshore sometimes up to 35 hours out there. So I'd even miss a wreck dive like that, and just so I could dive on something that we haven't dove before. I'm just always looking for whatever somebody hasn't dove.
Yeah, yeah. No, you just got that exploration bug. Were
Yeah.
you always like that even before diving, just exploring like any land excursions or anything?
No, I've always been quite active and more on the adventurous side. Yeah, with all the even just racing bikes, always kind of on the adventurous side. But it always says I gave up the truck driving life and I took up a safe hobby, and so now I just dive deep caves.
Yeah, I was wondering if because seeing that there's caves in Thailand, I was wondering, man, there's got to be some caves in Malaysia. I'm not a cave diver. It's
Mhm.
something that I definitely am planning on moving into, but just time and money is usually the thing.
Mhm.
But
If there's
I
a
know
will,
there's
there's a way.
yeah, yeah. No, exactly. There's I know there's a group going around exploring caves in Malaysia. I don't know how, I know they're active. I don't know how
No,
active
they
they are.
are.
I met some
There's
of
a
them.
lot of cave diving going on in Malaysia and Indonesia now. A lot's going on over there. I communicate with just, I don't know, kind of moving down to where I'm at after all these years, even as much as I love doing it, but I'm slowly, I know I can only, I even said at the end of this year, I'm not going to teach anymore. I'll go down and do 150, 160-meter dives in the cave and stuff. I have not a problem doing with it. But I says after this year, I'm going to back it down to 40 meters. I'll teach a cave. I'll teach a rebreathers. But, I'm 62 years old, and it's just, I know I'm coming to an end of it. And I'm not. I've kind of like the boat, the wreck trips and stuff. I canceled the boat, and I really don't plan on it unless something really special comes up, like cave expeditions or wrecks and stuff. I have other projects that I'm working on now, but you know, it's yeah, a
Anything
change
you
of
want to
life.
talk about or the projects?
Well, here in Sawi, like when I first moved down here, it's just like if you wanted to move to Sawi, if you did a Google search for a house to rent, you could never even find one. It's not like if you're moving to Chumpon or anything, you see a zillion. I ended up having to find an English teaching school, and they actually found it. She messaged out and finally found me a place to stay, which is really nice. But then when I was young, I grew up in a Christian school, and I just contacted, so I could meet people. And so I come down here and I met people at the church. And so I says, well, I want to be able to meet people. And how do I meet people? Is I actually contacted some of the people that I went to school with in the States, the seminaries and stuff. I went to a Lutheran seminary. And so I'm sending out tons of messages. And then I was messaging to the States, they were messaging over to Chiang Mai, and now I have the missionaries that I'm in contact with and stuff. Thailand's all Buddhist, but come to find out, there's like 4 Christian churches in the area. I belong to one, and so they have nothing. They have absolutely, literally, they're just starting out. And so I was able to get all the Christian Bibles and Christian books, all in Thai languages for them. And I went and passed them out. I do a lot of charity work. Not like I have the funds that I don't. Yeah, I don't have the funds, but I have people that I've worked with, and I say, hey, how would you say? I reach out and says, hey, people that would donate. They donated my mom's back in America. I made a post of her church and stuff, and they donated an air conditioner, and I just had someone help donate paint. I tried to help the church and help the people. Now I'm going to be getting like people to donate clothes, and I'll pass it out to the schools and to the poor people. I'm going to teach like medic first aid, CPR, and AED courses, but I'm going to teach them for free to the schools here, all for charity work for the people here.
Is there a way that if somebody wants to help out, is there a website or just get a hold of you via Facebook or?
It's just on Facebook. I just made a poster. I says, anybody have a secondhand air conditioner that they could donate to the church? And I don't know how, but a lady is a friend of my mom back in Florida. She asked me to find out how much. And so they sent the money, and I went down and used the money that this lady had donated, and they put an air conditioner in. I made a post, because these people really need help. It's, they could use some help in that. I just messaged, hey, we could use some paint. I went down and find out how much it would need to paint. One of a student of mine had donated the money to help paint the church. You'll see me post.
Awesome.
I just make posts. I mean, I don't, it's for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I make a living from diving and stuff like that. Diving I've been doing it a long time, and believe me, I get help from people, but this is totally separate away from diving. It's just that the people that know of me, it's not for me. It's everything goes to the people.
Cool. So are you still pretty actively teaching in the area since you moved? It hasn't deterred any students from going to where you were to.
It was kind of cool because when I first moved down here, I was doing a lot of the stuff. I was booking courses at, but it was done online. I was teaching classroom stuff, but then it's all caught up. Like I had to go down to Koh Lanta, that I was come back from Koh Lanta, then I had to go down to Tung Yai and Ao Nang, come home a couple days, then I'm in Koh Tao, and then I was supposed to go back down south for Cave in a couple days, but it just rescheduled. So, but yeah.
Where are you teaching the caves?
Down in around Ao Nang and Tung Yai.
What are the cave systems like? They're pretty deep or shallow. Like I'm not very familiar with the caves of Thailand, so
it's different than anywhere you would go. It's just like you have some where we go is actually some of the deepest. One cave you would be surprised. It's only about 20 meters across, maybe 30 meters long. The water's like 10 meters. You go into where the cave entrance is, it goes down 240 meters deep.
Wow.
And there's probably about four cave, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 or 5 caves right in that area. And then if you go over to Song Hong, which means 2 lakes, 2 rooms actually, but that one is in the middle. It's like a lake, and it goes down to about 100 meters in the middle. But when you go inside the cave, That's the deepest anybody's been is 200 meters
Huh.
deep.
Wow.
Yeah, not deep.
Well, when you're getting down there, what's the visibility usually? Is
It's
there
like
current
bathwater.
or?
I've been down to, well, it's actually I was going to 180 meters. Well, actually, I was supposed to be three of us going to 180 meters. I had problems with my rebreather that day, so the other two guys went down to 180. So I did a solo dive, and I was going to go down to 180 meters by myself. I got to about 155 or so, and I got entangled in there, but it's like crystal clear. It's like bath water. The first 30 meters, because of the rain, the first 30 meters is not so good because of the rain and washes into there. But when you get down to like 100, it's like bath water. It's beautiful.
Okay. So you were saying that you go on a rebreather, and I see you wearing a dive soft shirt because you're an ambassador, I believe, right?
That's just kind of changed. I was an ambassador, but they kind of restructured it, so I'm not actually an ambassador because I teach multiple units. But it's a great company. I dive my Side Mount Liberty. Actually, I'm doing my Side Mount Liberty instructor course in 1 month. I got to go over to
Oh, okay.
Taiwan and do my Side Mount Liberty, and I'm going to do my T-Rev instructor course there.
Okay. Okay. What units do you teach?
Right now, I have my AP, the inspiration. I have a XCCR. I'm not teaching that yet. I'm actually working with the manufacturer to get it approved so the agency, ANDI, can teach XCCR courses. I've written a lot of the materials. We're just making the changes and getting it approved. I have my Side Mount Liberty and possibly the T-Rep next month. So that'll be 4 rebreathers I should have.
Oh, okay. When did you get into diving into rebreathers?
Wow. I don't even know how long ago. I don't even know how many years ago it's been. I think I'm certified on like 16 units now.
Oh, wow. Obviously, it was just a tool for exploration to get you to where you wanted to go. I'm assuming is that kind of how it all spawned.
It's kind of like even cave diving and wreck diving. It's always, I want to learn more and I want to do things and I want to learn. I want to progress. I'm even though I've been with ANDI with it, but I've actually done crossovers with so many different agencies, with Patty, SSI, INTD, TDI, Ray. I've done crossovers to all of them, but because I'm a training director, I can't teach the other agencies, but I do it a lot for my own knowledge. So when I'm teaching and stuff like that, I just like to, and I'm still taking courses. I'm a hyperbaric chamber operator instructor. Kind of like I know when I can't dive, I'll move more into the medical side of diving. I'll probably be teaching more hyperbaric chamber courses and diver medic courses.
Okay, how'd you get into that? Was that just wanting to learn the
No, I
hyperbaric
got
stuff?
bent. I got, I think it was my first trimix course, and it was in the Gulf of Thailand, or right there in Sami side. It was in the deepest hole, is 84 meters, and I ended up getting bent in there on that dive, and I ended up going to the hyperbaric chamber with the Navy. I remember that because they're sitting there says, "You can't dive that deep. It's impossible," and stuff. And that's like it was in 1995 or 96 or something. But it's like I do it all the time. I just so happen to get bent, and I ended up becoming good friends with the people at the hyperbaric chamber, and they let me come in there. And I was for about 6 months. I was working as a hyperbaric chamber. I was operating the chamber. I was working as a tender going inside. And this was just so I could move up to the next level. Oh, actually, yeah, after I got better, I think I went and did one of my hyperbaric chamber courses. But the owner of ANDI, he is so much into hyperbaric chambers now. It's like he's got so many awards. I've been teaching hyperbaric chamber courses in the Philippines, in Manila. I've taught a bunch of chamber courses there. It's kind of more of a side thing, but as I get older, I think maybe I'll move more and more in that direction. Yeah, I want to buy some land and build a house, so I got to come up with money somehow.
So I don't know if I caught the story, but what were the events surrounding you getting bent? Were you closed circuit, just going deep, and what happened there?
I have no clue. I don't. I believe I followed all the rules, but you just get bent. I've been bent more times than you would believe. I have been bent. I've only been treated in the chamber once. just like everybody, everything, you're learning new tables and people doing different, try new dive tables. And man, I was getting bent all the time on it. One time I did, which I won't do again, is I was just in a pinch. It was on a course and stuff like that where I had to do like 270-meter dives in one day, which I'll never do. But that was like in Songhua. I come up and both my shoulders were bent. I mean, as soon as I hit the surface, I was in so much pain. I had to go back down, and it took me a couple hours. Good thing I had my rebreather on. I just cranked up did an oxygen flush, cranked up the oxygen. I had my dry suit on, and it took me a couple hours, but I just treated myself. But so many times I've had to do that. Laying in bed, sucking on oxygen tanks. Yeah, life was a technical instructor. Everybody says, "Oh, I want to be an explorer." I have so many people. They always say, "Oh, I want to be a cave explorer like you." I have people call me up like, "Oh, I want to find some virgin caves." Says, "Okay, I'll plan a trip. How many people?" I says, "Oh, how many nights do you want to spend in the jungle?" You mean we don't have Wi-Fi? We're not staying in hotels? That conversation doesn't last very long, and it's just like, yeah, you want to be a cave explorer? I don't think that's going to happen. They want to pull up in their BMWs and go for a dive, and they want to find virgin caves. I'm thinking, yeah, right. After I spent days and stuff in the jungle and that.
What was the last exploration project that you were a part of?
I think the last we out in the Gulf of Thailand, we went out just looking for some new marks. Dove the Totori Maru, which is probably about over 30 hours out away from shore, Sadahi. But we went out about 32 hours, and I think it took us to get there. But there were some new marks out there that we were looking for, some new wrecks. I think that was the last one.
Oh, okay, cool.
It wasn't like that Russian submarine I always dream of finding or something like that, but it was, we found a couple of wrecks out there, just new marks.
Yeah, I actually heard that there was a submarine off of Penang that there've been like a couple of exploration projects, or maybe one that I heard of where there's a story of it got, I mean, because there was a couple battles, I guess, here, and I guess there was a few wrecks in the Penang area. I didn't know. I mean, they're a little bit out of my depth range for now, but it might be kind of cool to I saw a video of somebody going to one of the wrecks, but I guess they have a problem here where a lot of the wrecks will get salvaged. The people will kind of just rip them apart.
Oh yeah, they tore some. Man, that was bad news that they did that. They had some very nice wrecks. That was big, and they just went down there, cut them up, and tore them apart. Then it's just like everybody's like this, looking in the sky and never seen a thing happen.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. I now kind of, if I ever do anything anymore, is it depends on what happens in the future. But there's like 3 Spanish galleons in an area where I do a lot of cave exploring. There's 3 Spanish galleons. I think I don't, I think like my trips to the Gulf of Thailand and other things like that it's like I've been there, done that so many times. It's like I have kind of, the other things that are keeping me interested, kind of change of life. If anything, it has to be something real. I just got invited to a cave expedition in the Philippines. I mean, I don't know how, I've traveled all my life. You look out my window where I live, there's nothing but coconut trees, and I'm perfectly happy. I don't even care to travel. I'm tired, and I'm getting old, and I'm slowing down.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I stay healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I exercise this morning an hour and a half. Actually, when I moved from Impati, I'd go to the gym all the time. Every other day, I'd be in the gym. And when I moved here to Sawi, there's no gyms or anything. And so I built my own little gym in the house, bought all the mats, and every other day, an hour and a half in the morning, exercising. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Stay healthy. But
what kind of exercise are you doing? Cardio? Weightlifting?
Actually, my first plan when I was going to move down here, I was planning to spend a lot of money on machines. I schedule work around going to the gym. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Most of my friends I know are from the gym, people I associate. That was kind of something after truck drive. Even though when I worked out younger in the truck, I was by myself so much, and that's not healthy. And so I says, what do I want to do? Replacing the bad with good things. So I started going back to the gym, just to associate with people. But I was going to buy a bunch of machines, a lot of money. But then I seen on Facebook, and somebody was advertising exercises for guys like over 50 years old. So I signed up for it. It didn't cost me a lot of money, only like $35. And he sent me all these new exercises, not using weights, but using rubber bands, using your body weight. And actually, I love doing them. I've been lifting weights and using machines and moving down here. It's actually great because I've been doing the same thing for so long. And I knew it's going to take some adapting to living down here. And, I've got all new workout routine, which I really enjoy doing. I'm finding the food that I like to eat, meeting a lot of new friends. So it's been pretty cool.
Okay, cool. So what's anything in the future with ANDI? Are you going to move kind of to the more behind the scenes stuff after you kind of take a rest, or is that just going to kind of see where that goes?
Nothing's really changed. I mean, today it's writing manuals. During COVID, I had actually, I did write the cave manual and the cave specialty manual. I wrote all the courses, all the instructor procedures, all the PowerPoints, all the manuals from nothing. But during COVID, I updated pretty much all of the technical manuals. We didn't have some of the CCR manuals, and I converted some of the open circuit manuals into CCR technical manuals, because a lot of the information's the same, talking about oxygen and stuff, but replacing information. But the whole technicals is all been updated. I'm just waiting for it to get approved by the boss. And then I've even been working on the recreational stuff.
Do you ever go recreational diving?
No.
Just single tank back mount?
No. I have not owned a recreational rig in 27 years. I have not. Once I started into the technical side, I kind of switched over pretty quick and just started doing technical. And it's nothing but, I haven't had a single tank on me, and I wouldn't even know what to do with the single tank on my back.
What would it take to get you on a single tank? Just no way in hell, or what?
I think no. I think I don't think I mean, I could go diving with 6-8 tanks or something. I just I was teaching a course the other day down to 100 meters. I had my rebreather and 3-4 tanks. Student's 20 years old. I'm 62.
I don't know if I'll hit that point, because I don't mind going sometimes, just like a fun dive trip, just throwing off. I've gotten into side mount over the last couple of years, and I definitely really enjoy it. And then I'm just recently kind of dabbling into the technical world. It's a slow push. But yeah, I just went out to Bali and did my advanced nitrox decompression procedures.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, it's a slow. I mean, I'm in no rush. I'm just enjoying it, but I always enjoy kind of like what you're saying is just what's that next course, what's the next thing I can learn. And so the ANDP class was a lot of fun, and I definitely really enjoyed it. And after that class, it's like, okay, do I go open circuit trimix, which is, a lot of people are just kind of going away from that these days. So,
well, I just taught a couple, but the thing I think what it really comes down to is how do you plan on doing deep diving a lot of trimix dives? Because if you're only going to do one dive a year, it probably ain't worth the money to buy a rebreather. But if, like me, it would be crazy for me to dive. I haven't even dove with open circuit trimix, and I can't remember how long. I'm always diving a rebreather, but it's just like, I can make money from the rebreathers. The amount of trimix dives that I do, it all pays for itself.
Yeah. So you're obviously, you said you dive a side mount Liberty?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the side mount rebreather? I mean, I know there's a few units out there. I know the Liberty's one of them, and then the Sidewinder and the Gemini, the rebreathers like that.
I would say the ones that I've enjoyed the most for side mount rebreathers are the Liberty and the T-Rebs right up there with it. They're both top-notch side mount rebreathers. When was the last time I even dove my back mount? I just been diving the Liberty is so much lately. I did the T-Reb course, so they're both very good, side mount rebreathers.
I've seen kind of out there that a lot of people suggest they're not good first units to learn on.
I know what you're saying. It's just like I remember like back mount. If you're learning back mount, they say learn with the counter lungs, the front counter lungs. It's easier than with the back ones. But I don't know. I've been diving with that. It is so easy. I mean, once you got the side mount done, it's so easy. I mean, you just clip it onto you. I don't know. I know some people that have people that I know that was their first unit. It's pretty easy. There's some of them are a little bit more difficult than others. One thing that you have to look for in a side mount rebreather, especially, is the work of breathing. You know, you have to have it positioned properly, because sometimes when you're changing your trim, the work of breathing can change. You know, with those rebreathers, it's no problem. Actually, when I did that course in a back mount, when I felt much more comfortable with the side mount rebreather.
Yeah, it's a something I'm starting to venture into, just because I feel like I'm at a crossroads at this point, you know, because I don't know to go whether I don't think open circuit trimix is the route. But
Best thing to do
yeah,
is
like you're
message
saying.
me offline, and I will be able to, I give you more in-depth details.
Well, awesome. So, one question I've been wanting to ask. So, if you had any advice you could give your younger self right out of open water, what would that be?
Oh, have fun, and not to go too fast. So take your steps gradually, not rush into things so much. I've actually done that,
Okay.
like most people, and sometimes I'd actually work my way and did a bunch of courses. Sometimes I had to backtrack, catch up to my certification level and stuff, but still have fun. I've been doing this diving all these years, and I still love to dive. I still love to dive. I like to get out there. I've been diving all these. I still love to dive, but I just know life's changing, and I'm changing, going to change with it. Maybe now I try to enjoy it a little bit more, because I don't know how much longer, how many years. I try to enjoy it as much as I can.
Well, I hope that there's many more years to come. Well, I really appreciate you coming on to the show for an interview today.
No problem. My pleasure.
Offgassing, a scuba podcast.